I'm Tracey Barnes-Priestley. Tonight on What's on Your Bucket List, we are at College of the Redwoods to check off a somewhat surprising activity for a man with a heart of gold. While our second guest has been curious about her creative but challenging bucket list choice for as long as she can remember. Coming up next on What's on Your Bucket List. My first guest is interested in serving some very special athletes. We're here on one of the most beautiful days in Humboldt County, and it's a great day for what we're going to be doing. Right, Scott?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, this is Scott Baker. Scott, when I read your application, I was pretty intrigued by what was on your bucket list. Why don't you tell people what you've been doing the last couple months?
Well, I on my bucket list thing, I put it, I like to coach, help coach the track and field for the Special Olympics, and so I have been doing that, and I've really enjoyed it, and I expect to enjoy it longer.
And why coaching Special Olympics?
I've always wanted to do it, and I've been involved with disabled access when I was the ADA coordinator for the city of Arcata.
Oh, okay.
And on the Tri-County Independent Living Board, and so I just kind of really got into this, and I just enjoy being out here, working with them.
Well, it's a beautiful spot to be, but the hands-on stuff. No, I bet the weather, right? What do you like about it?
I just like to see how much fun they have.
Yeah.
They're true athletes as far as I'm concerned. I mean, their performance, it doesn't matter. It's just they get to compete, and that's what they, and I love watching that. And they have so much fun.
Do they really? Yeah. As I understand it, there are 8 different sports for Special Olympics up here. Why did you pick track and field?
Well, because I competed in track and field in high school, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah, and it's more of an individual thing, you know. And but yeah, I mean, I used to run a lot of Six Rivers races. Then I quit, but I mean, yeah, I've always liked track and field. I mean, to me, it's just amazing to watch some of these athletes, what they do. And then come out here, and this is, I mean, I'm really going to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And how have they put you to work here? What do they have you doing?
Well, like in shot put, I'll just work with them and you know, try to help them with their form. You know, and encourage them. That's a big thing. Yeah. Yeah, you really have, and that's neat, you know. So.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It feels really good.
They're not trying to outdo each other. They're just doing the best they can, and that's it. You know, and that's what it's supposed to be like.
That's right. And so that kind of motivation, and they get a pretty big grin on their faces.
Oh and you know, it's just amazing, and I really enjoy that part of it, because when I was running, it was also competitive, you know, and stuff. And if you didn't win, or if you didn't come in good, that doesn't matter out here, and that's the way it should be.
Isn't that the truth?
That's right.
Yeah, it makes it a whole different experience.
That's right. It does, and it makes it, you know. It really makes it worthwhile, and I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
You said a moment ago you think you might continue.
I would if they asked me to.
Are there things you see in them that you've figured out how to really encourage them, or is it? They have different, like everybody else, different personalities. Sure. And so you just learn how to, deal with that. But I mean, I just encourage them all, no matter how good or how, if it goes this far, if it goes 30 feet, if it goes 2 feet, you encourage them, because that's what it's all about. Good for you. You seem like a natural.
I hope so.
The Special Olympics have been around since the 60s. Their formation was spearheaded by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who believed young people with intellectual disabilities benefited from participating in athletics. Currently, approximately 170 countries around the globe participate.
Throughout Northern California, training and contests take place, and then athletes compete in larger regional events in urban areas. It takes thousands of people to make all of this happen. Here in Humboldt, we're lucky to have Bob Judevine, who's been coaching Special Olympics for the last 10 years. I asked Bob how he got involved in Special Olympics.
So track, I've been a coach for 6 years, and Special Olympics coach, a friend invited me to come play 8 or 9 years ago, and I came out and loved it. Have been doing it ever since. Yeah, that was softball.
So how many different sports are there, first of all, up in Humboldt County?
I would have to guess. So there's basketball, there's bowling, there's soccer, there's football, there's track, there's swimming.
Bocce ball, that's the one that, yeah.
Bocce. Did I miss any others, Jan? So it looks like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm. And you've been coaching track and field for 6 years. What were you doing before that?
So before that and since, I've also been, I also coach. I coach the coach pitch team for the softball group. So, and I've been doing that for 9 years.
Right, so you love it.
Oh, I do.
What is it about it that just feeds you?
Well, it's a great group. My experience has been athletes will do what you ask. They're a happy group. They love to see one another. They're glad to socialize. You can see them benefit and thrive from the exercise and the competition.
Yes.
And they just, in a complicated world, the athletes seem to be a happy group.
Well, and one of the things I was reading online about the whole program is there's also a real emphasis on health.
Oh, there surely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, both diet and exercise. I mean, truly, for some athletes, just getting outside is a significant benchmark. So getting outside, having organized athletic events and practices is just great for their physical health.
Yes.
And we talk about diet when we go on trips and meets. We have a great sort of rounded diet to role model that. When we go to Davis to the Summer Games, there's this fantastic sort of, they bring in nutritionists and they bring in folks that do custom insoles and all sorts of sort of some of the specialized needs that some of our athletes have, and it's just amazing. It's a huge a college gymnasium filled with activities and health sort of breakouts and vision tests and testing, and last year they were prescribing and giving glasses out on the spot.
Wow.
It was amazing. Yeah.
And as I understand, this is all at no cost to the athletes or their families, correct? And volunteer staff. You're a volunteer?
I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's a volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're out here for this season a couple hours a week, pretty much?
Yes.
Until you get to go down to Davis.
Till we go to Davis. So we've got 1 or 2 final practices left, and we go to the Summer Games. So
pretty exciting.
Exciting times. Yeah.
So when I read Scott's application and for what's on your bucket list, and he said, I can remember it clearly. This may be a little strange, but I've always wanted to help with Special Olympics. And what do you think? How's he been?
Scott's been great.
Yeah?
Very enthusiastic, very engaged, very hands-on, no hesitation at all, sort of getting involved, and he's been a terrific addition.
Seeing the joy on the faces of the athletes, I asked a few of them what they loved about the Special Olympics.
I have built friendships with people that I've had for many years, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity.
The best part is competing and having challenges and studying your goals and meeting the requirements.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it, to set a goal and meet it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, it's great, and I love it, and I'm planning on being back here next year, so to compete.
And all about the journey, my journey.
Yeah.
An adventure.
I'd encourage anybody that likes different sports and you know, that needs a little help to come out and learn
Make some friends.
make some friends and enjoy Special Olympics.
So Scott, who's been new this year, has he been a help?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to enjoy it himself.
That's what he was telling me.
Yeah.
He really has enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
and we're always looking for new coaches.
Yeah.
You know, if people are interested. Yeah.
Well, let's hope we can get you some. It's a great
Yeah,
program, and you're great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
So
At the end of every practice, the coaches and athletes come together to end on a high note.
Let me win.
Let me win.
If I cannot win,
But if I cannot win,
brave in the attempt.
let me be brave in the attempt. Good job, Claire.
All in, guys, all in.
Wearing a white shirt. Go, go, Special O!
My next guest threw herself into something that had been on her bucket list for a very long time. What she discovered put a big smile on her face and just may have started her down a brand new creative path. Karen Isa has had learning how to paint with watercolors on her bucket list for about as long as she can remember. I was curious about where this lifelong interest came from.
And I can still remember how upset I was when I had made something on this blackboard at home.
Oh.
When I was, 8 or 9 years old, a little kid.
Yeah.
And my mom erased it.
Oh, your masterpiece.
And so I'm still trying. I want to do that yet.
You want to paint. What do you think it is about that kind of creativity that calls to you? What is that?
There are things and people that I want to capture and to hold with me.
Yes.
And to take a photograph isn't the same. It's not the same experience.
No, it's not.
And so that's why I want to do this.
What was it about watercolor in particular that appealed?
Well, since I can't draw, I thought perhaps watercolor would work.
It's a good experimentation. Yeah, no, I think that it's really fun to experiment with all kinds of mediums till you find your niche. And that's what we're going to be doing today with you.
And I think it's a good place to start. Yeah. So that's it.
When we put out our call for applicants for the bucket list show, I'm not sure where you saw it or read about it, but what was it that you decided I'm gonna apply?
I had a friend who says, "Oh, I think I'd like to do that." And then she never did it, but I did.
That's kind of the essence of bucket lists. People think about it, but then who actually does it?
Yeah.
And so here we are in beautiful Trinidad. You're about to get your first watercolor lesson from a wonderful artist.
This is such a perfect place to be.
Isn't it?
This is lovely. I haven't been to this particular place.
Oh, great. Great.
This is nice. This is nice.
And that's been one of the fun things about this show is we go all over the county, and time again people say, I've never been here. And yet it's our own backyard. Are you nervous about painting?
A little bit, but not much.
Good. Well, I hope not. Because I think that, because what we're here to do is give you a positive, fun experience.
Well, anything I do will be better than not having tried.
What do you think it is about some people who are willing to kind of put themselves out into situations where, Chile, a lot of people wouldn't go down there. A lot of people wouldn't have a painting lesson on camera. What do you think it is about you that maybe other people...
I don't know for sure.
Were you this way when you were young?
Oh no, when I was young, I was very limited what I could do. I was very limited. I was on a farm, and you either slept or worked, And we didn't have much opportunity. In fact, I'm still amazed, and somehow this has been coming to me recently. I remember the first time that a neighbor family invited me to go with them to visit friends of theirs in the next town. And I was afraid to go because I had never done something like that. And then they served pink lemonade, which I was afraid to drink.
Because that's not lemonade.
know, but that shows how afraid I was.
Right, because you were in a cloistered culture, right?
Yes.
And this was Nebraska, is that right? Yeah.
And some families were more limiting than others, you know. So anyway, I'm not there anymore. I don't have to be held back.
That old adage that the only failure is not trying. I really believe that.
So anyway, I'm ready.
Okay, well then, I am so glad that you joined us. Let's get you painting.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We're having fun. Let's get this show going here.
Okay.
I've admired the talents of artist Paul Ricard for a very long time. A well-known and respected watercolorist, Paul paints breathtaking landscapes both near and far. So I was especially pleased when he agreed to give Karen her very first watercolor lesson. I am so excited about the segment we're doing today, and I am especially pleased to be able to introduce you to Paul Ricard. Paul, I have to tell you that I have admired your watercolors for a very long time, and that you would agree to help us today and be part of this project is really, really gratifying to me. Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here, and after listening to Karen, I think we're just going to have a great time out here in the landscape.
I think so.
She has the right attitude. It's going to be fun.
What pulled you to watercolor?
I just loved what Karen had to say about watercolors being forgiving.
Yeah.
And some people say that they're not, but I love the spontaneity of it. I really like the explosiveness of when the pigment meets the water and then all the things that happen on the paper. And so I'm just really excited to share that with Karen today. I think it's a perfect day to do watercolors. Great. I'm really excited.
Well, good. So am I. I think we should get started. Don't you think?
I can't wait to work with Karen.
All right.
It's going to be wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Let's do this. Thanks to Paul's generosity, Karen had everything for her watercolor lesson. Finally, after all these years, it was time for her to face that blank sheet of paper and rich palette of colors. Something, I might add, she did with a positive attitude that was peppered with delightful laughter.
Everything can happen when you're outside. The paints can fall, you name it. But
I'll try not to
we'll
drop them in the first 5 minutes.
I thought we'd start off with a little wet into wet and just let you explore a little bit what watercolors do. So we'll take like the biggest brush that you have, and let's wet the paper. Just put a bunch of water on there. Just liberally put it all over. Doesn't that feel good? You can't go wrong.
That's a masterpiece already.
It's like you said, watercolors are really forgiving, and so I'm feeling. And don't be afraid to dip into that paint too. All right. Then take it and turn your brush around, just let it kind of go. And this part of the joy is just mixing it right in there with see what happens with that. And you get these beautiful gradations of, we're gonna paint from the elbow, which means you're just gonna put it right across. We're not even gonna worry, we're gonna put it right across. So, and let's see what that happens here. Look at that beautiful color you're getting there, see? That is lovely. We'll look at this landscape out here and we'll do an actual painting of that.
Okay.
But I love what happened here though. All of this, I mean, geez. It's always good to stand back and look at that. So we'll put these over here and let them dry.
What do you think?
I
so
think
far.
this is fun.
Okay, so our next step now is we're at this beautiful landscape. We have to decide from a universe of input what it is that we're gonna paint today. And so I'd like to model this area right in through here. And if you take your hands like this, you can actually frame your painting and kind of look through it. Do you see it as if you were taking a photograph? Yeah. It's the same idea. And so that's going to be the focal point. So as I'm drawing, if you want to work on that, we'll put that about right here. And I'm just going to sketch it. And you can go ahead and do the same thing. And if anytime you want some help with what we're doing, and it doesn't have to be exactly, it's not like we're doing a portrait.
Good, because whoever I was drawing would find.
I know.
Okay, so.
Paul and Karen had the entire bay to use for inspiration.
Sort
Yep,
of.
yep.
Okay.
That looks perfect. Now look where this other rock below it sits. It sits about right here. Everything is drawn in relation now. So, and put your pencil up there and it's level, isn't it?
Sort of like that.
Yeah. Oh, nicely done. Yeah. Yeah, that's great, Karen.
And then.
Here we'll start painting. And
Okay, we're getting serious now.
And that means that you aren't going to worry about lines like you did when you were in first grade. And you see the clouds that are up there? While it's still wet, let's give the impression of some clouds. Yeah, I like it. Look at that beautiful atmosphere that you're getting. See, that's distance. There's no detail in that. Oh man, you're getting some nice effects there. Oh, that's looking beautiful. Okay. That's just how watercolor's supposed to look. That's beautiful. So let's think about the gradation of light to dark and the value. And so we're thinking, as we're looking out there, that water is a very light value. So I'm going to try to reflect that in my painting. Where the shadows of the rocks, where you can see where they're a little bit darker, you see where this area is right here, I'm going to bring that right in. I'm going to bring the water right into that shadow. And I'm going to actually come up into the painting here and put a little bit of the ocean tone, because we want to merge these things. And and you'll see it's all going to work out. It's kind of a nice, very calm day, so we're going to reflect that with this beautiful horizontal plane that we're working on, which water is always a nice horizontal plane. And these rocks will merge the part of the water line right into the rocks where the values of the rocks are. So I want to give the impression of a wave breaking, so I'm going to come a little bit under the light and I'm going to go like this. And do you see how underneath the wave there are these kind of little striation marks? They're little marks where the surf's coming in. I'll put a little bit of that. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that wonderful?
I don't know.
Oh, you got one. We say we have a fish on. You got a fish on. Well, you're doing so good, Karen, following along, because there's so much learning going on in your learning curve.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just doing great.
Actually, this is hard work, but it's fun.
So this is your first ever watercolor painting?
Yes.
Jeez.
Oh boy, let's see what we got here.
Have a look at
Let's see Karen.
Karen's.
Oh my goodness.
It's getting better.
It's beautiful. You never, and well, nobody's going to erase the chalkboard for that one, by golly.
I love the atmosphere of that. I think
it's a complex picture too.
It has the feel of Humboldt County in that beautiful atmosphere. And this was done in an hour, right?
Yeah, that's the amazing part.
Yeah.
I thought that probably, we'd do something like where, you get it all wet and put some paint on, and then you'd make it look like a big flower or something. This is, oh.
That's a full-on landscape with,
Yes.
with atmosphere.
Yeah.
Too.
Nicely done.
So the last thing is we want to sign our paintings. Gosh, that's a nice painting.
I have been so inspired watching this today. I'm going to get out my watercolors. I may join you because this has been really fun to get to watch. You created art. Nice thing to check off your bucket list, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, it was a
Thank
pleasure.
you. It was.
Well done.
And with that, Karen was on her way to a new creative chapter in her life. Thank you for joining us. You can watch this and other entertaining bucket list episodes online at keat.org. Now, what's on your bucket list?